Hey y'all, I'm Blaine Phillips.
And I'm Phillips-LeVan.
We're married, like just a minute ago, but we've been together for 14 years.
We have a teenage daughter.
Which means she's basically an adult, right?
We're also growing a business on the side together.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Through all of that, we've learned how to improve so many aspects of our lives and show up in an amazing way.
So we decided to host a podcast to share our journey with you.
It's called Let's Do Life Together, because that's just what we want to do with you.
So if you could use some tips and tricks on how to make life a little smoother,
then you're in the right place.
come on in and let's do life.
All right, Jason, are you ready for this episode? I'm not sure you are. Are you ready?
Nope.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Nope.
Well, that's not a good... We're supposed to plan ahead. Did
Right.
you plan?
Yep. Usually we have like an outline and we pull it up and we look at it and we know what we're talking about.
He asked about today's outline because I make the outlines.
I pulled it up. There's
What
a
did you
document.
There's a document. What did it say?
Nothing.
Oh, yes. That's exciting. Are you as excited as I am about this? Well, because today's episode is one I had an idea for. I'm calling it Ask Us Anything. That's exactly what I did. I put it out in my social media world on Instagram stories. I asked you guys and in my weekly newsletter, which P.S. if you aren't on that, you totally should be, because every week I send a little love bomb email with some tips and tricks and things that are going on in my life that no one else knows about unless you're on that email list. So you can always go to blainephillips.com and add your name to that. But I asked you, what are things that you want to know about us that you have just never asked? Because we all have those questions, right? We're just a little bit nosy. Well, I am. Maybe you're not, but I don't know. We call it curious instead of nosy, but you wanted to know. So I collected some of those questions and we're going to answer them right here today. The best part, Jason has no idea what the questions are.
Oh boy.
I did not tell him in advance, so you're going to hear our answers live and his for the very first time. I've had a little bit to think about it, but I mean, let's be honest, I didn't think about it too much. So you ready? You want to get started?
Well, I guess so.
Jason, tone down your enthusiasm. Are you ready? Are you so excited?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm curious to see what people are asking.
All right. Well,
It's more about the questions than the
It is about the
answers.
questions. There's some curious questions. You feel good?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. Question number 1. How did we meet?
Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah, that's easy, right? See, I started you off easy. So do you want to tell it? Tell us how we met. Let's hear your version of how we met. This should be good.
My version is we worked together.
That's it. Use 4 words to tell the story of how we met.
That's how we met.
We worked. That's not even 4 words. That's 3 words. We worked together.
Right. It's true.
That is true.
Like many people, you meet where you spend a lot of time. So some people, it's a school, college, workplace, things like that. So that was true. But at the time, we were both married to other people.
That's true. Gosh, it was like 19 years ago now that we met. Like, that's a long time.
So
we worked at a computer company. Jason has always been in the computer field. Well, at least since I've known him. And I did not work in computers, but I worked there in like the warehouse project management type space. And we were both married to other people. Like he said, Jason was married and I watched him. I just knew him. Like, we just were coworkers. We weren't even really friends. Like, I just knew him. They had a child and then they had a second child. It was a small company. So we all kind of celebrated what each other was doing. You bought your first house. I bought my first house because I was also married to someone else. And we just worked together.
Our houses were close to each other. Same
which
part
is
of
weird.
town. Yeah, you were always a sharer, talker. So
A sharer talker,
we
eh?
everybody knew what was happening with you.
That's true. I was very vocal. Still was and still am very vocal. I was vocal when I was buying my house and when I was going through infertility. And then when my marriage was ending, I talked about my divorce. And that's just how I am. I'm a sharer and Jason is not a sharer.
Right. So I did not talk about those things.
I don't even know if we knew your wife was pregnant or that he'd had a baby. Like, somebody probably spilled the beans. Like, they probably saw an ad. It's probably in the newspaper or something and somebody saw it.
I probably said I needed like a some days off.
Right. I need to
'cause the
take some
baby
personal
was coming.
days. And we were all like, oh, is everything okay? Oh, yeah, we're just having our first baby.
Just
What?
Did baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy. Yes. And so we worked together and we were friendly, not really anything more than that. And then our marriages started to end. And then we became friends like on a different level of like divorcees, like trying to navigate that new space in life. And
that was where we first connected. So
Yeah.
that was because you talked about it. I knew we had something in common that I wasn't comfortable talking to other people about. So
yeah.
that's when I reached out, and we became closer friends, and then it kind of evolved from there.
Well, that'll roll us right into question number 2. And you didn't even know it. A lot of these are personal questions. P.S. I thought people might ask about like how we plan our meals or what our favorite workout is. No, buddy. They want to know the good, the juicy stuff. So how did you know that he/she was the one? Like, how did we each know? Oh, do you want to go first? How did you know? I mean, you said, so here we are, like we're coworkers, not really knowing, and now we're divorcees, and now we've connected just on that, like on a friendship level of like, oh my gosh, we have to do this and navigate this new season and go back out in the dating world and all the things. And then it evolved. So how did you know that I was your new one?
Well, I don't think it was like a singular moment, but I think that we learned from the first attempt of kind of things, what didn't work, and then how we would want things to be different. So having that understanding going in with kind of some different expectations, maybe, I think got us started much better than our previous relationships. So we didn't really know. Like I knew coming in to us, like how I wanted to parent and how I wanted to be available as a father, that I didn't have the space or the understanding with the previous marriage.
Well, if it's possible to suck the romanticism out of that question, you nailed it. So I'm going to keep it light on my end because it was a little more romantic for me. My answer would be to how did you know he was the one? There was this certain moment, and this is true. Jason has 2 children from his previous marriage. We know that. We've talked about it here plenty of times. I did not. I had infertility troubles. I wanted to be a mom, did not have a mom, or did not have any children. And I knew that any relationship I was going into in the future meant I needed to be a parent, or I wanted to be a parent if that was a blessing that I was going to be given. And to me, I loved Jason's children, but they were not my children. I really wanted to parent a child of my own, or at least continue to try to parent a child of my own. And Jason and I kind of, I guess it was dating. I guess we were dating in an adult type capacity. It was super weird. Like we were just hanging out, whatever. But we were dating and it was starting to get pretty serious. And Jason was pretty adamant that he didn't want any more children. He was set. He had 2 beautiful, healthy, happy children. He had a boy, he had a girl, and that was great. And he didn't want any more. And I completely was understanding and accepting of that. I was like, I get it, dude. Like if I had 2 kids and they were healthy and happy and all the things, I wouldn't want them either. But that doesn't work for me. I really want a child of my own, or I want to at least have the option to continue to try. So we actually broke up. I said, this is cool, but let's go ahead and end this before it gets super serious, because it's just kind of a deal breaker for me. Like, I like you and this is cool, but let's go on. And so we did. And that was hard because I was really starting to like him, but it's a thing. Like now we're adults, just like he said, we're on second relationships. We know what we want and we know what we don't. And for me, I wanted a family of my own. So that went on a couple of weeks. Like we still worked. We were still fine. No one's angry. It's the way it is as adults. And then the moment came, my moment, when I'm going to romanticize it and not do like that guy over there. Oh boy. But I was living with a friend and I was home. It was like a weekend and she yelled up and was like, hey, Blaine, Jason's here. And I was like, what? That's super weird. Like, I didn't know he was coming. And so he had showed up. He'd rang the doorbell. He's at the front door with his 2 little kids whom I loved. They were little. And here this man is with his 2 kids. And he's standing there and he's like, he wants to talk to me. And I come out and I'm like, what's going on? This is super weird. And he said, Jason doesn't say a lot of words. I think we've all covered that by now. But he said a few. But the main word that he said was like, I miss you. Like, I don't like this. I want to do this. And there's nothing I would rather do than make you a mom.
That was good. I did a good job.
You did a good job. You did a good job. And that was it. It was in that moment that I knew he was the one. So there's my sweet side of it. All right. Question number 3. This one kind of rolls right in. I didn't even plan it, but they're rolling right in. Question is, did you agree on the number of children that you were going to have?
Well, I mean, my approach is always one at a time. Before I had kids, I would say I wanted a bunch. I wanted like 4 girls. But then, the reality comes, you have 1. Great, healthy. Try to figure out, what does this mean? Like, how do you do this? What's parenting all about? Then it's discussion. It wasn't predetermined. Are we going to have 1 or 4, 6 or whatever, or just see what happens? Some people have that approach too. So for me, it was always just 1 at a time. But then each time, for me, I just felt like, all right, if the discussion would lead to, all right, we have, I have 3 healthy kids, so would I press my luck, like take your chances and it not be a, healthy pregnancy and a healthy kid? And that's kind of the approach. So it was, it was 1 at a time. So definitely have 1. Like, we determined that. So we're going to have 1. And Sienna came. I don't think it was very long before we kind of, at least I recognized it. I think you were meant just to have her and not, have multiples.
That's funny. It's like we agreed and we didn't. Like you said, we really didn't know. And our story is a little different because we are a blended family. Like, we have 3 children. Jason and I only together made 1 of those children, but we're financially responsible for 3 children. We have, make plans with 3 children. And, so that came into consideration. I always thought that I would have multiple children also. I always kind of thought I would have 4. And then when Jason and I got together and the sweet story happened and he decided that we would have a kid together, and we were blessed to get pregnant and we had her, I was so blessed. And I don't think I don't, maybe some people do. I did not know until I was actually a mother. I really wanted to be a mom. And if I'm being completely honest, I really wanted to be the mom of a girl. And I know in my heart now that I was meant to be the mom of 1 little girl. I didn't know that at the time, but I know that now. And like I said, we still have 3 altogether. But here's a fun fact. Jason was done. All done. Like, he was all set with 3. He was happy. He had 3 healthy children and he was all done. Like, Jason's like, past the vasectomy, I'm ready to be all done and not worry about it. Fun fact, he actually made the appointment for said vasectomy. He's like, I'm good. We're done. You're good. All right. And as the appointment date got closer, one of us, me, got cold feet about it. It just seemed so final. Like, I kind of felt like we were done. Sienna was probably 2. I kind of felt like we were done, but I wasn't really sure. And it seemed so like final. And I was like, not ready. And he was ready, but I said, I need you to cancel the appointment.
So the one thing I knew that I wanted was the kids to be close in age. Like, I didn't want to be out of diapers and like a whole new, lifestyle, and then have another baby and be back into that infant stage.
Yeah.
So that's why, at about 2 years, it was in my mind kind of pushing it. Like, if it's going to happen, we needed to do it now.
And he was really sweet. He canceled the appointment and we just kind of coasted for a while. He was kind because I wasn't ready. I mean, if your partner's not ready to say you're done having kids, and he did cancel the appointment, and we just coasted for a while, and then time took over, and I think I realized I was meant to have one. He always knew it. But it was another 2 years.
A couple years.
It was
later.
2 years later before I came around to saying, okay, I'm actually done. You can schedule the vasectomy, which is really funny because I think if I would have said, okay, I really do want to have a fourth, Jason would be like, nah, son, we're not doing that. But he was kind and he played along. And then 2 years later, he made that appointment and had that vasectomy. So yeah. I would say the answer to the question is we agreed but worked it out.
Right. Yeah. So I let you get there on your own.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that was very kind of you. Oh, jeepers. All right. What is your favorite part of being married to me?
Oh.
Ooh.
That's a good one. There's so many parts. So the favorite is, it's kind of a general thing, but it's just the open for growth, like the doing new things and changing our lifestyle. I don't know what you call that, but it's the things that we're doing that are, maybe not normal or what we're supposed to do, or the predetermined sequence of events of things, but it's just where we're growing and pushing each other in different ways, I think. I don't know what you call that, but...
I don't know what you call it either, but that's good. So my favorite part of being married to Jason, I think it's probably just having him as my best friend to walk through every stage of life with. Like, he is right there from the yoga retreat to the cake decorating and all the things in between. Like, he is just my person. There's no one else that I would rather experience anything new or anything with, and having him right there beside me. Like, I just know, like, this is my person, that we're going to walk through all of this and we're going to come through stronger, and we're going to have hard times and we're going to have good times. And my favorite part is just knowing that I'm doing it with him. He truly is my best friend. And some people say your husband can't be your best friend, and I don't think that. I do. He is. All right, ready? Next question.
All right.
Sarah asked this one, so thanks for listening to us, Sarah. We are excited to tell you. Jason's going to tell you first. What are you most afraid of?
Wow. Okay.
I love that you don't know these in advance.
Right.
Do you want me to go first to give you a minute?
Maybe.
Is that fair? Well, I'll tell you. I'll go first. Let's be fair. I've made him go first every other time, so let's give him a second to catch up. For me, my biggest fear, probably what I'm most afraid of, is getting to the end of my life and not have gone for it, not have tried everything, not to have been too scared to try and fail, to do the things, to take the trip, to spend the money, to do the things, like to leave all the experiences that I wanted on the table because I was too afraid to try or too worried about what someone else would think. I don't want to get to the end of my life and not have pushed, not have done it.
Right. Yeah. So regret.
Yeah.
That's probably the same for me. It's just the settling or the regret of missed opportunities or opportunities that you didn't take, something like that. Because first thing I thought was, things I'm not afraid of, but
that's not the question,
right.
Jason. Also, P.S. I'm really afraid of drawbridges. Like, side note, they freak me out. I can't even stand it. Like, driving over a bridge that opens up to like let boats under, which there's a lot of those around here, and it's all graded and your tires have to drive over them and it feels all wonky. Every single one, I envision that they're, and they open going up. Well, I always envision that they're just going to open downward and I'm going to plummet into the water with my car every time. It freaks me out. I hold my breath when I go over them and I hold the steering wheel really tight and I just go. But, I mean, that's a side note. All right, next question. This one should be fun. What was so far to date, our best date and our worst date? Best and worst date nights. I don't know. Well, I definitely have a worst. I thought of it right away.
Uh-oh. The best. There's lots of good date nights or dates. So I mean, we've done a good job with mixing things up. So just things in general. We had our 10-year anniversary year date extravaganzas. So that whole year was filled with some fun ones.
Yeah, I did a good job that year.
Right?
I'm just saying. So for our 10th anniversary, Jason's gift, just so you know, just so we keep you up to date, Jason's gift, I gave him 12 cards, one for every month. And each month I had a date or an experience or something planned out and booked and paid for in advance as much as possible. We did some cool things. We went to, Jason loves Duke basketball, so we went to a home game and saw a Duke basketball game. We went to a bed and breakfast for a weekend getaway for one of them.
Was that when we saw David Sedaris?
Yep.
That was a good one.
That was David Sedaris. So yeah, we had a good year that year. That was a cool. If you ever need a good idea, whether it's a 5-year anniversary or just a Christmas gift, if you can plan some dates in advance, you don't have to go all out a whole year like I did, but it's a great gift just to plan something in advance, already have it booked, already have it paid for. And he did really great. He didn't open them until the first of each month. So he didn't know them in advance except for just a few weeks or a few days, even in some cases. So that was cool.
Yeah. And then there's just the kind of non-specific dates, but it's, the Whole Foods and just the kind of the simple things that are still memorable.
Yeah.
It's just maybe not a particular one, walking to the local restaurant for the pizza night.
Yeah.
Like those are good dates.
My favorite dates are the ones that Jason plans. Honestly, I love it. Like, I do so much of our planning around here, which I like. I plan our menu and I plan our schedule and I plan this and that. And I like doing that. But there are times when I want to turn it over. So when he takes control and he puts it on the calendar and he schedules the childcare and he plans what we're going to be doing, I don't even care if it is a Whole Foods date night and walking, because I love that. But when he takes control and plans the dates, those are my favorite. But I got a story for you on our worst. Well, it was bad. I'm just saying. Let's see if he remembers. He's going to remember as soon as I start telling the story. We were on a weekend getaway. So I don't know if you could call it a date, but it was definitely a date. And so when we do getaways, we really like the brewery winery scene. Like, Jason loves to try different beers at different breweries. I like the scene. They're pretty casual, a good food truck, and just chill at breweries. And so pretty much everywhere we go, you can bet that we're going to check out the local brewery. So we're on a weekend getaway and we'd done a little bit of brewery hopping and we were going to check out this winery. And Jason he's really great about planning our getaways. He does it. He maps out the location and what makes the most sense. And we're going to do this. And in case you haven't picked up on it by now, we're planners. And so the last stop of the day was going to be this winery and we're going to it. And so we're going to go to this winery and that's where we're going to eat dinner. Also, he's already looked it up. He's told me the menu. We've kind of already got a taste for some things in our mind.
Like a really good charcuterie board or something.
Yeah, it was a great charcuterie board. Right. Some chorizo was included. We were looking forward to what we were going to eat. So I've got that in my mind. It's gotten a little later in the day than I want to. Well, it starts out Jason had had a few more tastes at the local brewery than I had planned on, so now he's no longer should be driving. P.S. Blaine doesn't like to drive, but okay, I'm down for it. I really don't like to drive, so now I'm driving. I don't like to, but it's fine. It's safe. He's not intoxicated. He just shouldn't be driving because it's the safe thing. So I'm driving. He's got the GPS dialed up and we are en route. I have no idea where we are. We are in the country, so it's dark. There's no street lights. Like, we are on a 2-lane highway in the country. I'm hungry. Like, we're going and I'm now hungry. Like, it's time to eat because we're a little behind schedule. I'm driving. I'm hungry. It's taking a long time. Oh, it was way further away than he tells me. Like, I thought it was like 15 minutes. It turns out that it's 45 minutes, allegedly, from where we're supposed to be going. Now I'm already annoyed because I'm getting hungry. P.S. I'm driving. Okay, I'm in my coat. Side note, this is so silly. These are all the little things, but I don't like to wear my coat when I'm driving. I feel restricted, but I think we're only going on a short little trip away, so I don't take my coat off. I'm like, no. Then I realize that it's 45 minutes away. So now I'm hot. I'm hungry. I'm driving. It's dark. I don't know where we're going, and we're starting to get there, but we're not getting there.
Nothing is there.
Nothing is there. So we arrive, quote unquote, at the destination, and there's a giant sign that says, "This is not the winery." We're in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. I'm hot. I'm hungry. We've driven 45 minutes. It's dark, and there's a big sign that says, "This is not the winery." P.S. Now I have to pee so bad. I can't. I'm like all done. I'm hangry. I need to pee. He's like trying to search on the GPS, and he's like, "This is what it says. Like, this is the address." And clearly, other people have had this problem. Hence the sign. This is not the winery. But we don't know where to go. So I'm agitated, as you can imagine. The emotions are getting high in the car. Meaning Blaine. Jason is searching. He's trying to find it.
I think the reception wasn't that good, so Google wasn't really working.
Right. Not good. I eventually stop the car. Like, we don't know where we are. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what's happening. I stop the car. I get out of the car. I take my coat off because I'm hot. I throw the coat in the back. I pee on the side of the road because I have to pee so bad. I crank up the air conditioning. We have no snacks, so I can't eat. But I'm like, just forget it. We're not going to this winery. Get me back to town and get me some food. And so he like just puts in something. We get there to this sketchy McSketcherton diner that's supposed to, and I'm like, I'm not getting out. I will get tetanus. I will get tetanus. Try again. We eventually made it somewhere. We ate some food. It was fine. It still goes down in history as probably one of the worst dates.
Right. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was not a good one. That was not a good one. All right. Couple more questions. You ready?
Maybe.
Are there any areas, or I guess the question was, what areas do you and Jason agree to disagree on? I've got a funny one.
Well, agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
I would say the first thing that comes to mind is that we don't, it's not really agree to disagree, but there's things that we know we have stronger opinions about. One, like, I'll have a stronger opinion than you in general on a particular subject. So as we parent, we defer to the person that has that stronger opinion. But
what are your examples on that? I've got two.
What are your examples?
These are true. He's right. Like, if one person has a stronger opinion, for example, when Sienna was little, Jason has a pretty strong opinion about piercing young girls' ears. Tell us about that, Jason. I believe you used the word barbaric.
Maybe. It just seemed like they're like the little ones that they're not old enough to either understand, like make the choice, or they're not old enough to like take care of them.
Yeah,
like,
and I didn't really care. Like,
perspective.
I thought about piercing Sienna's ears when she was little. He had a strong opinion about it. I didn't really care, so you defer to the stronger opinion. Another example, he loathes trampolines. Like, no way.
They're dangerous. There's studies. I heard it came up on some podcasts that I listened to talking all about how bad they are. Yep. It's not just me.
It's not just him. He doesn't like trampolines. Trampolines were always a hard no. We're not getting one. Our kids aren't jumping on one. Trampolines at friends' houses, no, no, and no. I didn't really care. I grew up with a trampoline in my backyard. Never really had a problem, but I didn't care. So you defer to the stronger of the opinions. And that was Jason. Here's a funny one. This is what I thought of when I read this question. Agree to disagree. Jason and I have a different definition of this thing, and I just say we will agree to disagree. When I say clean the kitchen, I don't know about you.
No, you say do the dishes.
Oh, here we go.
This is it.
All right. So when I say do the dishes, to me, do the dishes means
clean the kitchen.
Wash all the dishes, wipe down the countertops, the
Vacuum.
stove. Oh my gosh, I don't always
Yes,
vacuum.
you do.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, to me, do the dishes is just, Jason says I should say clean the kitchen. And I say do the dishes. And to me, in my mind, do the dishes is do everything in the kitchen related to cleaning the kitchen. So let's just agree to disagree that do the dishes means clean the kitchen. All right, let's wrap this up. Last question. You ready? Buddy, you better make this one good. I'm not playing around over here.
Boy.
Some of these have been a little lackluster on your part. No, I'm just kidding. Last one. What is one thing that you love about me?
Oh, let's see. Just one thing?
Just one.
Well, energy for sure. I think I'll say more than one, but it's the energy and the positivity and the pushing us to be better, making us better individuals and better couple, pushing us to model how we want things to be for Sienna and for other people.
That's good. Thanks, babe. One thing I love about you, I guess I'll say two, kind of two, but one is definitely your patience. He's just patient in all the things. He's patient with me. He's patient with our kids. He's just has this calmness about him that never makes you feel dumb or like you're going bananaramas. Like he's just has a patience about him. And I think the second one that goes along with that is his heart for other people. He has a great way of, he thinks differently than I do. And he thinks of things from a different perspective, always considering other people and wanting to give back and make sure that we're showing up for others. And that's invaluable. And it's such a good reminder for me and for our kids, like the example that he is. This was fun. How'd you feel about Ask Us Anything?
Yeah, it was better than expected.
So thank you all for submitting your questions for Ask Us Anything. I think it was fun. It took a little trip down memory lane today.
You can submit new ones and we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, we can do a part 2. We can keep it going. You can always find us over on the socials. I'm Blaine Phillips on Instagram, on Facebook. You can find Jason under J.LeVan, Facebook, Instagram. Go to our website, blainephillips.com, and sign up for that newsletter. So this was great. Thanks for your questions. Until next time.